Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's Byron here, your real estate investor next door. I wanted to come to you guys and kind of break down what's the best markets for wholesaling 2022, or how to determine what's the best markets for wholesaling in any time. What I'll do is go through and talk about, how I go about picking markets and the different things that I consider when going into markets. I'm just going to break down the most effective ways to go about finding the best markets for wholesaling. So the best markets for wholesaling and how to determine what's the best markets for wholesaling is, first, you want to look at your market, right? The market that you know. That means, where do you live in the market that you know, right? And you look around and see. And what I look around and look for is the market I'm in close to a metro area? Is it close to a larger city? If a city like Atlanta, or is it close around any big city like New York or Chicago, LA? Is it close around any of those big cities, right? Not necessarily inside those big cities, but around those big cities, right? It's the outskirts that I look for, right? And mainly in places where the population don't go over 200,000 inside of that county. That's why I like to look for, especially for beginners, right? Those places are going to be, one, less competitive, right? You're going to have, two, probably be more single family homes in those places. And it just allows you, especially if you live in that place, you understand the area, right? And then once I find a place that's population is less than 200,000, but more than 100,000 for that county. Once I find that place, then I'm looking for an interstate. What places along the interstate, right? So you may have a county, but there's a certain town that's along the interstate within that county, right? So I want to target zip codes that run along the interstate, because a lot of time people that live close to the interstate, they're taking that interstate and they're going back and forth in between work. They're going back and forth in between taking kids to school, this and that. And they usually, want to probably move and get closer to work, move and get closer to a certain school and stuff like that. Those people seem to be more transient, right? Those places that's along the interstate seem to just be more transient. So I look for transient areas. That means people are constantly moving in and out. Places that's not too big, definitely outside of the city, right? And you want to find those towns those zip codes that's along the interstate, right? That are most transient. And then after I see all that, that's when I start beginning to look, okay, where are the buyers buying, right? I'll go to propstream.com, and PropStream is $100 a month, but you could sign up with my code below in the description on YouTube, and get like 7-day free trial. You can go in there and just do 7 days, cancel that mug, before the 7 days up. But go in there and do your 7 days and look at those zip codes and see, okay, you will search that zip code and then go to the filters and filter out cash buyers, right? That means how many properties have been purchased with cash in this area. And you can just do in general. If you want to get specific, you can go down and search and filter out between certain dates, like in this calendar year, how many properties have been bought with cash. And you can see, okay, this zip code got 1,000 properties bought cash. This zip code got 5,000 bought with cash. This zip code got 8,000 bought with cash. So you'll be able to see, that zip code is hot. There's a lot of cash sales happening in that zip code. So that's what you want to see when you're in PropStream. You look for those cash buyers, and you'll see those zip codes where people are being really active with cash. That's how you know buyers are in those areas, right? And they're buying a lot, and people obviously selling a lot. So that which tell you right there that, hey, this is a hot zip code. So I always look at population versus how many cash sales, and I kind of compare them. Okay, that population is low, but dang, they got a lot of cash sales. I may want to target them because even though it's a low population, a lower population, those cash sales are strong, like they're high. There's a lot of people selling. So that's why I kind of look at it. That's what I kind of do. And then the other thing I begin to do once I see there's a lot of cash sales in the area, I start looking at the buyers, right? The first thing I want to do is begin to call agents, talk to agents like, hey, do you know anybody that work with cash buyers? Do you work with cash buyers? And there's three type of buyers that I'm searching for. I'm searching for flippers. That means these are regular people that flipping, they flipping property, they got cash, or they got able to get their hands on things that act as cash. Landlord buyers, people that's buying for the long haul. And then I want to have hedge fund buyers, right? These is big companies that's buying properties with cash. They got millions of dollars to be buying properties, right? I want all three buyers in that area, right? I want to be able to search all three buyers in that area. Most times in any area, they're going to be flippers. In any area, there's going to be landlords. The hedge funds don't buy in every area, right? So you need to know, like, hey, if these hedge funds are not buying in this area, I don't want to go there, right? Because that eliminates one of my set of buyers. I can go looking at another area and still find flippers, still find landlords, and find hedge funds in those areas, right? So I want to be where the hedge fund is. I want to be where the local landlords is, and I want to be where the flippers is. Not saying that I won't look in those areas, but I'd rather stick to, and I'm gonna hit harder those areas where I can find all three of my buyers. And mainly I'm finding those buyers through agents, right? Another way I find those buyers is through Facebook. You can go on the Facebook Real Estate Investment Group and kind of search through there and see who's really active. Look them up, look at their profile, hit them up like, hey, look, I found this kind of properties in this area. Would you be interested? How should I go about getting properties to you? Do it that way. Another place I would go is biggerpockets.com. If you come across a lead, just post it on biggerpockets.com. You may have to be a pro member, but it'd be worth it. Like, that's how I found a lot of buyers. I posted a property on biggerpockets.com and people start hitting me up. And then, I found that buyer, that buyer, that buyer. And you'll be amazed. If you find the right buyer, it could, you could sell $100,000 worth of stuff to them in a year. That means you can make $100,000 off one buyer in a year. You just got to find the right one that's really, really active. But so calling agents, good way to find buyers. Facebook Real Estate Investment Group, good way to find buyers. Biggerpockets.com, good way to find buyers. And when you do all this stuff, sometimes you're going to run into other wholesalers and going to be wholesaling your deals, right? I mean, that's cool. As long as you're making money, that's cool. The key is make sure when the wholesaler go wholesale your deal that you go back and try to figure out who ended up buying it and try to get the contact for the person who ended up buying it. That's the key. And then, if you don't find it within the paperwork, go back after it's over with, go back and bring that property back up and see who bought that property and see the name of that person and try to figure out, where did that come from? So that's what you want to do. So, but those are the three best ways to find buyers. And then you can just look at flip properties in that area on Zillow and then call up that flip property and be like, hey, I ain't trying to buy it, but it seemed like it was flipped. Is this a flipper that's working on this, property, right? That's how you can find a flipper. And then you can find landlords the same way. Go on Zillow, see properties for rent, call them up. Oh, you're a local landlord. I find this kind of properties. Would you be interested in it? Or getting more of this kind of properties? Do you know any of your friends that may be interested in buying this kind of properties? That's a good way. Another good way to find buyers is going to the county tax sales or property auctions. They usually hold them on the first Tuesday of every month, right? That's another good way to find buyers. In these hedge funds, the best way to find them is calling them agents up, man. Getting on the phone with agents, because most times an agent is going to be dealing with a lot of these hedge funds. So just call these agents up and talk to them. The main thing is building relationships with all these people I just told you to talk to. Build relationships with all of them, and that's going to really help you, right? So that's how it go. And finding these buyers is going to determine what area I'm going to target. Okay, if I find all three types of buyers in a certain area, I'm blitzing that area, right? If I find one type of buyer in the area, yeah, I hit it up, to see what I can get. But once you get the buyers, figure out their criteria, then you're going to search their criteria. Then you're going to be able to know, okay, I'm going to search for this specific type of property in this specific area. I'm bringing it to them, and they're going to, and then you get it sold. So that's how I would go about finding my target area in 2020 or anytime. That's the best way to figure out how to target or know what area to target, right? If you got any more questions about that, make sure you hit me up on IG. Make sure you follow me on YouTube. You can go check out all of my videos on YouTube. Same thing. We got hundreds of videos on YouTube. We got videos on IG. We got videos on TikTok. So go check me out if you want to learn more about that.